Alright everybody, this is your boy Shockwave48 here. Welcome back to another video, and today we got new information of My Hero Academia chapter 370, and of course of Shoji's face revealed. Now, I never seen what Shoji's face actually looked like. I see him wear his mask all the time during the past seasons of My Hero Academia, but I never actually see his actual face in his mouth before. So we're going to be able to reveal that and see what he actually looks like on this video. But before I get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button if you're watching today's video. Subscribe if you're new, if you are, want to see more chapters My Hero Academia videos. Be sure to subscribe, okay? Alright, so we're actually done talking about Deku's quirks and, fighting Shigaraki. We're going to put that aside. Now we're on to reveal Spinner and Shoji and what's going on with the others. So we actually move along. So yeah, let's go and check this out. Let's do this.
Alright, so we got the 370 spoilers, and this chapter is surprisingly really compelling. There's a lot of good stuff in this one, but there's a lot to go over, so let's get into it. The chapter begins with a flashback from Spinner's hometown. People are throwing stones at him, saying that he's a disgrace to their town and that mutants will never be accepted, no matter how much the time changes. The flashback ends with him facing the ocean. So yeah, we saw that it was shifting over to Spinner at the end of the previous chapter, because Izuku was completely destroying All For One / Shigaraki.
Yeah, we actually saw
and it got to the point of where he had to have
has a huge hole in his chest now.
Friendship moment almost to pull himself through. And long story short, it came to the point where he's like, I'm not gonna lose yet, and that victory is still within my grasp. And then it cut over to Spinner, who was in his gigantic form, because All For One had given him an extra quirk before the war had started. He's just almost completely delirious at this point, and we'll go more into that into these spoilers. And in this portion of the chapter, we're seeing some more of Spinner's backstory. Next, there's some context on what's happening. All For One assumed that Kurogiri would be placed at Central Hospital and sent Spinner, some of the remnants of the Paranormal Liberation Army, and several civilians who followed them to attack the place. There are about 15,000 people there, most of them mutants. So yeah, this also goes back to what we were talking about in my previous review, because this was set up in chapter 353. We saw Spinner with the heteromorphic army battling against, their specific group of heroes, and he was they locked up Kurogiri, but we're taking him back in order to destroy the status quo. So yeah, based off of that, we knew that they were going after Kurogiri, and I do think that they're probably going to successfully get him, kind of because they have to, I suppose, to up the stakes for the rest of this arc. But let's keep going, because I guess I'll just talk more about that on Friday. The heroes are trying to contain them, but counting the police, they number only 200. Mike thinks to himself that Shirakumo has become quite popular and attacks with a loud out shout, but one of the mutants stopped the sound from getting through with his own body. A mutant shark tries to hit Mike, but Koda controls some birds and protects him. He says that he got separated from Shoji. The cops want to call for reinforcements, but their chief says that it's impossible and tells them to use the taser shields to push the mutants away. Several mutants have gathered around Rocklock, and he tells them to stop, but they have furious expressions. They say that people with a human appearance will never understand what they are feeling. They have Spinner flags and t-shirts. So yeah, this is one of All For One's big plans, at least for Spinner. He wanted to make him into this mascot so that he could get these 15,000 heteromorphs behind their cause. Because in the My Hero world, there is major prejudice against the heteromorphs, which has been lightly explored in the series, but it's better late than never that it's just coming full circle here, and we're really exploring how it affects society, because obviously there are parallels to our own, but ultimately it just comes down to All For One just using them. Of course, he doesn't really care. They begin to attack Koda, who's knocked to the ground. He doesn't understand why this is happening, and one of the mutants calls him a traitor and asks if he grew up in a big city. We then see one of the Paranormal Liberation Front generals is giving a speech from top of the building. So the guy that's going to be talking here is this guy. I don't know if he ever gets a name,
weird,
but he has a pretty memorable appearance. We've seen him from time to time. He's always associated with the Paranormal Liberation Front. He says that quirk counseling is useless and that they directly deal with the consequences. He mentions Incident 66 and the Great Purge of Jeddah as examples of mutants being exterminated by people who simply said that they were gross. And while it looks like things have improved with Nezu and other mutants occupying positions of power or walking freely on the streets, that's just make pretend. Non-mutants are still the majority, and the education system does not teach proper acceptance of differences. Many people still feel the same disgust that those responsible for the massacres left. He then takes off his mask and says that they have never felt the light of heroism shining on them. They all thought at least once that they would be better without their quirks. So to be honest, this guy isn't wrong. It's going to be a little difficult to land this because this problem ultimately won't be solved with just the good guys winning. It's going to obviously take more than that. I mean, this is shown in manga after all, but it is a serious big problem in this world here, and it is making this story more compelling. I just wish it was explored more. But I get it. If it's not Izuku, Bakugo, or Shoto, then, you know, most of the readers and slash viewers of the series don't really care. But this guy's also taking off his mask that he's always wearing, and he kind of looks like this heteromorph here, but he kind of has like these claw things on the side of his face.
That's gross.
He says that mutants don't recognize the heroes as their saviors. The one who will guide society to a better path is Spinner. As he says this, we again see Spinner flag and several mutants cheering for him, saying that they will lead the way and that he must win. But Spinner doesn't even understand what they are talking about. All that goes through his head are key words like all for one and power. He then prepares to attack two cops, but Shoji appears and attacks him with an octobrawl. So yeah, as we saw at the end of the previous chapter, Spinner is like kind of zonked out right now. And I guess it's progressively been happening because he was more cognizant in chapter 353 when he was talking about going after Kurogiri. But I wouldn't be surprised if this has something to do with what All for One did to him. Maybe having two quirks is too much for him, or, you know, one of All for One's nuanced powers, I don't know, can influence his mind when he gives you a quirk or something, you know, because All for One and power are going through it. But yeah, it ultimately has something to do with that for sure. I think it's probably taking a toll on him. The mutants immediately advance on Shoji, calling him a traitor and saying they'll kill him. He then briefly remembers people who also wanted him dead because of how he looks when he was younger, and asks what attacking the hospital has to do with their cause. So this aspect of Shoji is pretty important to his character. It's like the main aspect of his backstory, and unfortunately it was never explored in the actual series. As far as I know, this was only really shown in the Ultra Analysis book, pretty sure, and I'll go more into that in my review on Friday. He says that in the previous war, the first thing the heroes did was ensure the safety of the patients in Jaku Hospital, something that the mutants didn't even think about. We then see a flashback of Shoji with bandages on his face and facing the ocean just like Spinner. He asks once again if they're thinking about the consequences of their actions, and if they are not, he will not forgive them. In the panel, we finally see Shoji's face. End of chapter. So yeah, understandable why he's you know, talking about what he is here with the heteromorphs, you know, blindly fighting for their cause, not caring about anyone else, especially the people in the hospital. But we're getting the big face reveal here with Shoji, and I mean, the way that he looks and the shape of his face, it doesn't really leave much to imagination. Like you can kind of assume
just
what
like
he looks
similar
like,
to Spinner.
and it pretty much is that. He doesn't really look too handsome, I'll say. So it's understandable why he wears the mask, but you know, that is also another unfortunate aspect of being born a heteromorph, you know, in the My Hero world. Not everybody gets to just be like a cool human with, like, you know, fire powers or something. But also, we've kind of seen this before, or at least some of us, because Horikoshi showed what Shoji's face more or less looks like in one of like the initial sketches or drafts for like the characters in this series. I don't know if this was ever released in a volume. I honestly don't even know where this was released, maybe on his Twitter or something, but yeah, he pretty much looks like this. I mean, still to this day. But he has like these Joker scars on his mouth, which ties into his backstory. And we were probably going to find that out back when Nejiri was like asking him why he was wearing a mask, but before he could say anything, she like cut him off because Nejiri sucks. But also, you know, Horikoshi didn't bother to go into Shoji's backstory himself. So, but yeah, pretty compelling chapter here, and like I said, I'll go more into it on my review on Friday.
Okay, that's the end of the chapter. Now I know what his face looks like now in the actual show. So yeah. So we got a little bit of problem going on with this chapter, guys, and it seems like the heroes are going to find another way to stop Spinner or stop the mutants, and find a way to keep Kurogiri at bay, because if the mutants do attack the hospital and they end up finding him and freeing him, then the heroes are actually going to be toast, because, you know, he can actually, make portals of his own body. And you know he has a weakness, that's the neck, but still, there has to be a way for the heroes to, stop Kurogiri from going out of control, because, as I said before, he can make portals, he can actually grab the heroes, he can actually stop Deku from attacking Shigaraki and pull Shigaraki out of the battle, and then they can actually retreat. So it looked like the villains might be able to do something, But the heroes gotta step it up because I don't want that to happen. Because if that happens, it's game over for the whole hero society. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next on chapter 370. So yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. It's Shot with 48. Peace out.